Hello, manifestors. I know it's been a long time, it's been a while, but here I am again. I've just been very busy within my manifestations, and like I said, I'm going to make a video somewhere between December 15th and the end of the month. Going to make a video about this amazing 2023 year as far as I am concerned in regards to my manifestations. But today I wanted to talk about how long do you have to imagine, because this is a question I get a lot. How long do I have to imagine, and what should I do next? So I am going to answer those questions using Neville's own words as well, because this is probably the question I get the most. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, about the question, how long do I need to imagine? Let's clarify something very, very important. You and I always imagine. There is not a moment during the day that we are not imagining. We are imagining all the time. And if you become the observer of your own mind, you will realize that no matter what you do during your day, you had imagined it. Everything was imagined. This is why, guys, Neville taught, imagination creates reality. Because nothing is just acted upon without imagining it before. For example, if you write a simple email to someone, you have to imagine first that you are going to send this email to that person. Even if you decide to do a simple chore in your house, you have imagined it first. This is why it's very important that you observe your mind, and you will realize that everything that you do was imagined first. So when you are asking, how long do I need to imagine? If what you mean is, how often should I imagine what I want versus what I don't want? Well, the answer is easy. As often as you can. Why would you imagine anything else but what you want, right? So you always have to be sure that what you are imagining matches your desire fulfilled. That's as easy as that. Now, if you are asking the question, how long should I imagine, thinking that you have to imagine a specific scene over and over, because if you stop doing this, your manifestation will not manifest, your desire will not manifest, then in that case, your imaginal acts become a technique. And you are creating the belief that without me practicing that technique, I'm not going to manifest my desire. And this isn't true at all. So, as a matter of fact, if you keep on imagining your scene over and over, you most likely are doing it in order to get what you want more than you are doing it in order to be that person. Because the thing is, once you use those scenes in order to become the person that you want to be, in order to be that in that moment, eventually you should feel the need that you do no longer need to do those things. So if you personally, listening to this, watching this, you feel that you keep on having to do the scene, then that scene, that imaginal act itself has become a technique for you, and you have created the assumption that without that technique, you will not manifest your desire. Again, How long should you imagine? You imagine all the time. How often should you imagine that you have what you want? Well, always. It should be your new way of life, your new habits. Always imagining that you are the person that you want to be. But if you mean how long do I have to imagine a specific scene so I can make sure that I get my desire, there is no such rule as long as you know who you are now. Or even, let's say you imagine a scene that implies that you are who you want to be. You could imagine it only once, and if you were really in there, you were really that person in imagination, you could do it only once and then drop it, meaning not being attached to it, not being in a waiting state, not being in a doubt state. You imagine it once very specifically and then you drop it or you let it go, which doesn't mean you don't care about it anymore, but you just leave it alone. It will manifest. It will manifest because you have planted the seed. And when you plant a seed and you leave it alone, meaning you don't mess with it, you don't dig it out every 5 minutes, you just leave it alone, it's going to do its thing. Therefore, it's going to manifest. This is why Neville compared this to pregnancy. When do you get pregnant? You get pregnant within seconds. Once that seed has been planted, there is nothing else you need to do. You get pregnant, and by law, by physical law, a baby has to be born at some point. Now, if for some reason something or someone is messing with that seed, then you can create what Neville used to refer to, a miscarriage. But if everything goes well, once this seed is planted, there's nothing that you need to do. You'll get a baby at some point. It's the same thing with your imaginal act and your desire. If you don't mess with your imaginal act, you just leave it alone, trust me, your manifestation will happen by law, by spiritual law in this case, right? Now, if you mess with it, yes, indeed, you can also create a miscarriage in the spiritual sense, meaning that you are delaying or canceling for a while your manifestation. But if you don't mess with it, meaning you don't doubt too much, you don't put yourself in the waiting state, look out in the 3D, where is it, when is it coming, and all the things that many of you are doing, which actually creates delay upon delay for your manifestation to be materialized already. If you stop doing that, just live your life as is in the 3D, as it is presented to you right now, because that's the old manifestation you are living now in the physical. If you imagine your wish fulfilled, and even if you have done it only once, you've planted the seed and you can leave it alone. And it will manifest. This is what Neville says here. How the imagined state is realized physically is not the concern of you, the natural outer man. The spiritual body, on its return from the imagined state to its former physical state, created an invisible bridge of incident to link the two states. Although the curious feeling that you were actually there and that the state was real is gone as soon as you open your eyes upon the familiar environment, nevertheless, you are haunted with the sense of double identity, with the knowledge that there is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. When you, the natural man, have had this experience, you will go automatically across the bridge of events which leads to the physical realization of your invisibly prepared place. If you need to read this paragraph over and over, guys, to understand what Neville says here, please do. It's the last chapter of seed time and harvest, which he says basically, there is the natural outer man, which is you in the physical world. And you, the spiritual man, your inner man, your imagination. And yes, the physical man has to live day by day in its current reality, which was, by the way, also imagined prior. So you may feel some type of a double identity, as he mentions here. But you have to understand that what you've created in imagination will catch up at some point. It will catch up in your physical reality. This is what life is. There always is a delay. You know how when you do a live on YouTube, someone invites you to do a live with them, and your audience will see two people speaking with each other on the screen on the YouTube channel. And that thing goes live. If you were someone who listens, who follows the live as it happens, there is a 30-second delay between what is said now and what is heard by people who are following the live. So even though they believe that they are following the live, it's a live that still has 30-second delay. There is a gap of 30 seconds, 30 seconds being half a minute. So people who are asking questions, who are commenting on the live, even though they think it's instant, it's not. What they are hearing was said 30 seconds earlier. This is exactly what happens with your physical life. There is always a delay. What you are living now, you're thinking that it's really concrete and out of nowhere and it's a physical reality, and it's not. It was imagined consciously or unconsciously prior, and you are now living it in the physical material world. And this leads us to the next question. What should I do now, or what should I do next? Well, you should do nothing. There is nothing to do. You don't have to lift a finger, as Neville said, meaning that it doesn't mean that you sit on your sofa and don't move anymore. You go about your day. That's it. You go about your day as is now, as your physical life is now. You do nothing in regards to your imaginal life, in regards to your wish fulfilled. That's going to happen of its own. You don't need to do anything. If there is anything that you need to do, if your body has to move, you will have what we call an inspired action. And an inspired action feels just as it is called. It's inspired, therefore you don't ask your coach, should I do it, or your neighbor or your mother. You don't ask anyone. You don't even have time to ask yourself, really. You just do it. Your body, your hands are going to move. You're going to do something. You're just going to do it as it is inspired to you to do. Besides that, you do nothing. You let things happen. Everything that I have manifested this year, which again was an amazing manifesting year, I did nothing. I absolutely didn't do anything at all. Okay? Those things came to me because I had planted the seed, because I had imagined it at some point. But physically, in the 3D world, I did nothing. This is why Neville says, when you, the natural man, have had this experience, you will go automatically across the bridge of events, which leads to the physical realization of your invisible prepared place. So you, the physical man, meaning the you in the 3D, will be led will be led to some bridges of events, or other people will be led towards you and they will be your bridges of events. But as for figuring out, thinking with your limited ego self what to do next, the answer is very easy, because it's nothing. There is nothing to do. So my friends, I'm going to end this video here, which I believe is very clear and to the point as far as answering those questions that I get all the time. How long should I imagine, and what to do next? Thank you for watching. Please share this video, comment, and like it if you liked it. This helps my channel. This helps especially people who need to hear this to find the video. Also, check my links down below if you need help, one-on-one coaching, group coaching, my manifesting guide, and more. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.